as just being a more natural support player. So he was willing to take that feedback. He knows sAw were in a bind, and he's supposed to be the guy that bails them out. I am not putting all my focus on you jerks. I want Agil to perform. Yeah. He needs to step into those shoes. If we're going to look at sAw as improvement, if we're going to see them progress into the RMRs, they need to be able to put away a team like Monte, who have been growing themselves, winning a lot of tight games in that group stage. But it is the first map of our semi-finals between sAw and Monte here at ESL Challenger Katowice. We start with Ancient.
And we start with a fast B execute coming through from Monte. They've got a plan, they will execute and get the bomb down fast. Now with this, the return from sAw should be 3 through Cheetah, but there's also the same amount inside B house. This is going to be a brawl as they start to move back over. U-Jerks will fall, and right next to him, Muris is in the ground. Krastel and Hades a trade, but Agil still has a lot to do. Diha needs to be overcome, and K around the corner will take him down. Demka exchanges. It's madness in the B house.
Yeah, I mean, a great read. You could see sAw very focused on trying to take those fights in through middle, and Monte just taking the space immediately up through the B ramp. They get access to the bomb site, they get that bomb down, and then suddenly the repositioning. Sure, you've got numbers there for sAw, but you're coming in at a very narrow choke point. It would have been a difficult round for sAw to pull together given that circumstance, but also some nice shooting, some nice trades there from Monte in that post plant.
And I really love this map pick coming out from Monte. I think they've done a great job on it in these past few iterations that they played themselves, because it's a perfect pairing of, well, you know, they've beaten teams like Big on it, they've beaten, you know, teams that on paper should be around that sAw level, but also I think sAw was struggling on Ancient, you know, even with their previous iteration, even with Barry, even with Aristosh. I think we saw them struggle versus Falcons. After a great lead that they start off 9-3, it ends up being a 13-11.
Yeah.
So there is weakness. This would be it.
Also, Monte 13-1 them for 13-1 legacy earlier on in the tournament. So,
that helps.
Reasons to feel confident.
Yeah. It's always nice to see that.
As long as you can demonstrate why you have pride in a map pick, it is a lot easier to justify it further on.
And one of the most important things about that is overcoming these force buys.
Yeah, sAw can be a problematic team, especially on Ancient, I find, when they are on these low buys. They love bleeding out util, especially Roman is a guy that's hard to ever anticipate what he's going to do on buys like this.
Very often the strangest win condition you can have on a team. That's what Roman is. Re-smoke out from Muris as well. This timing is fantastic. If they want to commit into B, it's going to be going into these close-range pistols. Roman, there he comes out. U-Jerks right there next to him. So much damage on already. Monte dispersed, but he'll have to worry about Agil coming in on the flank, threatening away with the MP9, but he's dropped off and waits now. Demka, this skill is vital, and even with it being lost, even with it being found, it would have been difficult. Kai just no longer has the time to make his way over to the A side and get the bomb down. Even if Muris lost the duel, just wouldn't matter. Monte wait too long, they're smoked off too many times, and they're overrun.
And a great decision from sAw to just play passive. Monte waited, looking for that aggression. They're maybe expecting a player like Roman, who's getting fired up, it seems, to get aggressive out through Cheetah. It's very much in his repertoire.
Yeah.
And instead, they run out of time. The timing on that smoke, like you noted, was flawless there from sAw. And by the time Monte pulled the plug, they basically couldn't afford any speed bumps, and Agil was a big one to get past.
And now you've got to try and get a force buy of your own. It'll be Kai starring the show with the Galil in his hand, and that's not too much. Of course, taken forward from the previous round, so you do want to equalize the economy regardless. Roman reveals position. That means he's probably not going to be getting aggressive later on either, so you can be feeling unworried if you're a sAw fan. Oh my god, I hope he doesn't die to those Tech 9s. The chant of every fan when their team is against a force buy.
I mean, we had apples on the desk. As a North American fan, I'm sure that's a very common conversation. Story's in such a good position to just retain mid control. It is isolated. It can be a bit of a nuisance, but yeah, you see, that's one of the problems. SoundQ given over, Story can take the off angle, but he also can't escape.
My guy. That's a nice shot with the Tech 9. Look, Monte have done a good job of resetting the pace in a 4v4 where sAw actually don't have any utility at all. They will be relying purely on firepower. So this round's not gone, especially when you consider Kai is supposed to be the one leading the front lines. But the flashbang, oh, that's going to change things. Delays them even further. Ujerks must have spotted him receding back, and Ujerks aggresses forward. The bomb dropped and spotted. Rotations called over, but they might not be needed. Roman shutting them down on the entrance to the site itself. Saw find two, and might be settling in for the third as well.
Yeah, I mean, just nicely handled. Always had information to play off of. Never felt like they were going to get stressed out. Even if there were a couple chances for those pistols to get a couple more kills, doesn't fall the way there for Monte. So it will be a save. And this is a nice builder round for sAw. May lose the pistol, but you need to hit those conversions, and you know that would maybe be a conversation we'll reflect on if Monte would seed this map. It's obviously a poor way to start in your pick in the series, as well as the first game of playoffs.
Yeah.
Try to play with respect, composure, and then you still lose.
One of the things that I am looking forward to seeing, which I expect to be the hangover from Barry, is Story's opping style and how it changed. I mean, Alan had some time to talk about it on the desk, that he did feel like he was really stepping up. And I felt like, and maybe I might be reading too much into this, when you look over towards how he used to play before Barry and post Barry, he was throwing such fewer flashes in the first 30 seconds of a round. It felt like the start of every round was started off with, hey, I'm going to at least try and get 20 seconds of sightlines in this position before I pull out any utility beyond what helps me peak. And, well, missing a shot is not going to be helping his case, but at the very least, he will be keeping his life, and Agil is there in Donut. For him to be picking up these frags is also not insignificant, like you said. You want to see him come alive, and Monte do not want that to happen.
Yeah, people will look at his stats coming into this tournament and think, a replacement for Rozdosh? Agil, really? But he's been doing a good job so far in this tournament. He has been hitting his shots. He is also not making massive errors. I think that's even something that they'll have known about him prior to the pickup, given their familiarity with him on that For the Win roster previously. And I mean, both Ujerks and Story vouching for him.
Monte just pulled out 5 AKs, and with that, they do decide to sacrifice some of their utility, given the fact that they ran into some issues earlier on. I wonder if it's going to be a faster play decided by them instead. Now, the bomb is all the way back in spawn, right? Let's not forget that. So this is very much a default, even if it feels like a fake. The smoke out over towards the A side, and maybe I'm lying to you. Maybe it is a fake, because that looks very much like an execute with nothing behind it. Going out onto the A side. Agil is worried. He's scared. There's smokes everywhere. There's fire behind him. This is madness. And he can't engage in it yet. No one to shoot at, but he'll be given that opportunity soon. Kai fights back, though, and Agil put down. Suddenly, this A side has been breached. Rotations are called, but Ujerks remains. He's still concerned, but for how long?
I mean, he might be close enough to hear the steps in through spawn that they're running back away from B. Can't lower his guard, though. There is still players on the extremities. Monte are in that A bomb site, but Demka getting a following frag. Bomb still needs to rendezvous with him, and Ujerks has been able to catch a player at elbow. The late lurk through B, maybe too late, in fact. Muter is continuing to apply pressure on A.
And he can cut the bomb off over here. If that happens, around is lost. Diha has a timing where Muterus is turned around, and that's exactly what he uses. Ujerk, suddenly a round of possibilities has dwindled to nil. Unless Krasnal taken down, but he doesn't have the HP to contest this any longer.
Yeah, just too much damage in that fight. This round was very weird.
Yeah.
You know, Monte, I don't think themselves felt very comfortable at any given point. Demko was still running interference for such a long time, but given that they had 2 outside of B, I think they were expected to hear more audible rotations, or at least some indications that sAw had vacated the B bomb site. But, I mean, from the doors, it's so hard to get that kind of information.
Funnily enough, it's even the first kill that Kai gets onto Agil, that's not where he was expecting the deal. He's ready for it, obviously, right? He's a very aware player. That's one of the things I've always liked about Kai ever since he was in Aves. But he was waiting for a flashbang to be thrown before he peeks out from the side of the smoke. The flash pop before, rather after the duel was already taken.
Yeah, and I noted in the Falcons game, you know, sometimes when you're throwing flashes like that, or you know a flash is coming, you're maybe forecasting where the fight is going to be after the flash pops. But
yeah, it works for him there.
Yeah, but Kai was still very focused on the fight ahead. Also knew that he wouldn't have to worry about having to turn or shield himself from the blindness. But
of course, where we're talking about coaches, we can't forget the coach of Monte right now, Norot as well. A long history of playing with Kai in particular. Both of these guys go back to Aves. Norot was his IGL on that team. One of the reasons why Kai came up, and I think could be one of the reasons why Kai might end up seeing an uptick in form as well. That's what I'm hoping for, at least.
Well, it's still full guns here for sAw. Roman poking, but Story still holding on to middle. Timing maybe a little poor for him. Yeah, just the jiggle out from elbow. Monte have spotted that there is presence inside of that red room.
Did Story spot him, though?
No.
Yeah.
It is one-way information, but that's a missed smoke. That is not ideal. He can still challenge round that, especially with Muterus continuing to fight himself. Story is going to take that risk, and Hades blissfully unaware. The trade back there from Demka is good, and Kai getting his frag over on the B extremity, but Roman brings it back to 2-on-2. There are still players here for sAw on both A and B, and Agil's still hesitant about making that rotate over, given the presence in middle earlier.
He's worried about Monte having split up 1-for-1 and trying to sandwich onto the B bomb side. Agil knows that A can be retaken, especially with the amount of utility and the kit that he has on his side, but the problem will be Roman. It's win at least one duel or the round is bust. But with 20 seconds at least, he has a time on his side. When the bomb starts to be planted, remember, Krasnell's already gone backwards to the back of the box, but he will come through to reinforce, and that's what Roman is hoping to capitalize on. Demka stays safe. This spotting will be crucial. Does he stay near the bomb plant? Oh, spots out the shadow, but that's what Krasnell is safeguarding for. Agil feels like he has to fight and move forward. There won't be a buy for sAw here, so saving has merit, but how much? A grenade goes deep, flash overhead. It will not blind either one of them. And Monte, take it away.
Yeah, I mean, really nicely handled. You can see Krasnell, I guess, a little confused or perturbed by how the round ends up playing out, but
I'd like to think that's his Mad Dog impression.
He did save his teammate, so that's all that really mattered in the end. If Roman had been able to slide out into that site and just take down one, it could have gotten very hairy. But that could also be one of the poison chalice type situations for sAw. They wanted to hedge their bets on both bomb sites and hope that their last remaining presence players could actually just mount a defense, but very good awareness from Monte throughout.
This is a very empty A bomb site, and Monte will have a timing to just waltz in, avoid this stack entirely, but if they miss that very often, the mid stack does start to pivot back to A, and for Monte right now, it's all about damage mitigation, right? So you'd ideally like to be able to settle down, make sure these USPs don't take out more than one of your rifles. That's the best case
they
scenario.
have at least ID'd that it is pistols and just USPs, you know, not having to deal with 5.7s and MP9s. So I don't think they're going to be too scared, too hesitant.
Well, listen, throwing the smokes can end up working out against you against those USPs. You see those dings coming in through it, but yeah, this should be pretty easy, pretty safe. Funnel backwards to maybe find the lurker. sAw are saving? Surely they're searching for the lurker. Yes, they are. Krasnell located, but he might want to get the hell out of there. Maybe not. Maybe not. Okay, Krasnell. I know those are only anti-ecos, but always like to see something snap.
Yeah, I mean, they talked about the players that showed up for Monte over the years, but Krasnell was actually the one that had the most inflation when CS2 first came out. He was actually a demon. He was playing probably the best Counter-Strike of his career at the start of CS2.
Playing some of the best Counter-Strike in the world, statistically, at that time.
His numbers have since dropped, but we see flashes from time to time.
I'd say they've come to a mean between the two. I still think he's definitely much better than he was in CS.
Oh, for sure.
That feels for certain. Even
when we adjusted for the inflation.
Yeah. And of course, he is the prodigal son of Polish Counter-Strike in many ways. Hoping to take it to greener pastures than it has been in a while. Roman, however, that incendiary does not go where it's supposed to, but the bullets do. He stays alive, he gets the kill, and that is perfection. But he might not be able to save his life. Jumping around, the acrobatics at his age. Goddamn, Roman, give me your flexibility.
He's like a
routine.
professional dodgeball player. He was juking and weaving, they couldn't find him. That is actually fantastic that Roman's been able to escape somehow.
It's like Elmer Fudd trying to shoot down Bugs Bunny.
Good little boost here for Diha, but not the angle that Mutirius is holding. It's actually a 2-1-2 for sAw. Not exactly the most conventional of setups, but it actually allows them to be a little bit more aggressive in the mid-round, should they so choose. Story getting flashed off, though, may actually push them away from that idea.
They are going to now be going into the B side without any flashes, though, because they were worried about Story. So even Story just being there has got some massive implications for the end of this round. The 4 execute comes through, but Roman's already doubled up on his frags. Ujerx has backup. That's Mutirius, and with no backup needed with that kind of farmer spray, Diha's all alone in the 1 versus 4. They go from the 4v5 to only getting 1 kill. That's the problem of not being able to make those CTs blind.
It's what makes sAw such an exciting team to watch at times as well, because just small little bits of synergy do add up. You know, Ujerx taking first contact on short from the left side of it. They smoke it off, and then Roman's angle goes completely unchecked because they're throwing a smoke. They're expecting it to block off Ujerx. And then as well, there was always a contingency plan if Ujerx didn't hit that spray down. There were layers there to that defense for sAw, and Monte fall right into that trap. They would have benefited from a flashbang, though, for sure.
Diha wants flashes over here as he's scaling in, but they've now gone silent. The return flashes mean Roman comes out on top, and Ujerx on the side is hoping to continue to sneak around this billowing smoke. Roman distracts. The flash is fantastic. Flash is fantastic. He's just blind. Kai can't do anything. Agil gets a kill. Mutirius now comes into play. Roman continues to peek forward to let Ujerx straight, and he does it twice. That's disaster.
You know, sometimes when, I hear Alan say the game is going to be carnage, I think, maybe there is some credence to that, and then usually the games are just slow, and, the teams that are so chaotic typically actually play more reserved Counter-Strike because the stakes are higher. But this is carnage.
But this is such well-orchestrated carnage. Look at every single flashbang that sAw is using. Our observers show us the perfect perspectives. You just couldn't see for like 12 seconds entering the bomb site.
Yeah, but sAw themselves were getting caught by how good the flashes were by their teammates as well.
But I didn't see that side.
Roman also got full flash. Ujerx also got full flashed. Everybody was just playing around this one lurk smoke on that B-bomb site. And I don't think Monte expected to commit that hard. They were hoping they can get one player in position, maybe sneak up, maybe a player behind them to trade. But because that went so poorly initially, they just kept brute forcing it. And sAw had the answer, clearly.
So also have the economy advantage now very clearly, as Monte will be forced right back down to Glocks and a P250, a Deagle in the mix, but how much will that do at this stage? Unfortunately, one of the players who we really haven't seen, well, 2 of the players who we really haven't seen are the most veteran and the ones who've seen the highest heights. Diha and Hades have yet to really have presence on the server the way their name value should dictate.
Yeah. Well, their old in-game leader placed last at this tournament.
Are we just slowly killing off all of the old end scores?
Well, ENCE just won a tournament, didn't they? So,
Only one ENCE can be good.
There's not enough, player attribute points to go around somehow. It is weird to see rises and falls at these weird moments, these sections, these crossroads in Counter-Strike.
Well, that went about as poorly as it could have.
Yeah, I mean, that was nice and smooth. This time, Story hit his first shot against the Glocks.
There you go.
And Agil was there to sweep up the rest. 10-5 is the new addition to sAw. Want to see more from him, and so far, he's been coming through with some nice multi-kills.
I'm sure they might not be the flashiest, but he's doing more than his job, and when you look over towards the numbers, frankly speaking, guys, if he's getting 1 kill per round, those numbers don't lie.
2 more rounds in this half. Saw could
really
doesn't
realize Deha was sitting behind, and now he wants to get up ahead of this smoke and see if he can chase down that donut player. He turns around, but Agil comes alive and then very soon stops being alive. That's unfortunate. Roman and Ujurx, though, on the other side, are hoping to unalive some of the sAw members. This 4 versus 3 for Monte, rather, the Monte members. This 4 versus 3 for Monte might end up escalating, though. Ujurx found, and he's not the player who's normally there, so they're very concerned about Roman's presence. They are seemingly wise to it. Roman being sandwiched from either side, and right now he is getting sweaty and bloody.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain Kai actually spotted Roman get to those doors just as the smoke faded, and, you know, good awareness for him to have cleared the close cubby all the same. Story still here, though, with that AWP 1-on-4. He would have to pull through, and Hades does lock down the round here for Monte. Nice awareness, nice reads, also just good patience. Once they realized they had that advantage, so were being proactive, and Monte did not get caught off guard.
All starts off with a great kill on Amuras, who thought he would beat the timing on the run boost, I suppose. Maybe that's why he wasn't checking the far corner, but even then, it feels like a bit of neglect for sure.
I think just because there was that quick smoke to Cave or Cheetah, it was actually Muterus thought you could take the lane fight first, and smoke didn't obviously go far enough round into elbow.
Ooh, Story forced off.
Good damage.
Damage is fantastic on a Deha, yeah. Double man set up inside Cave, and they might want to try and re-crunch down middle. The problem is not middle, though. Roman doesn't get the kill. Kai around the corner. Roman now gets 2. That's a good time.
Yeah, how's he managed to get away with that? That is murderous. And the intent here is still to move into this A-bomb site. sAw getting that Molotov down, so the plant is not guaranteed. Monte are pumping the brakes, though. They'll tap, they will wait for spam, but there is nothing giving here for sAw. Hades, a missed opportunity, and Demka, I mean, he gets his one, but Muterus has found a double. The meanwhile, a near impossible round for Hades to win.
Oh, no.
They are kissing inside of this smoke, and Hades must be aware of it at some point. He's getting blocked to high hell. He cannot make his move. Muterus stands as a bodyguard to CT.
Cases in the smoke aren't going to help Hades win the round, though. He doesn't get any sweet nothings back. It's only bullets. Another missed shot, and it's 7 for sAw. They are in the lead and happy to extend in that second half.
I came in the league, went straight for the title. No time to idle. I'm finna get it, put that on the Bible. This is survival. Gotta treat every move like the final. One by a mile. Nobody believe it, they all in denial. Hey, look at me, look at me. Still in the show, that's the crook in me. They want me gone with the hook in me. Asking why is he here like I shouldn't be. I've been on grind since Otto. 10,000 hours the motto. They see the bag is coming out and flocking to me like I won the lotto. Dancing with the devil, there's no recital. I'm killing competition, ain't no revival. I shoot it to kill it, I'm aiming for vitals. I'm showing no mercy when facing my rivals. Snakes in the grass, they getting exposed. I know they be lurking, I'm watching them close. Acting like friends, but really they foes. Saw they be scheming and said adios. Get it, don't mindset. Ay, back with a vengeance, back on the grinds, back to the business. Ay, God is my witness, they watching my moves like shows they binging. Ay, best keep distance, all of my haters send best of wishes. I get to the bag with the quickness, no I don't need no assistance, no. Yeah, no playing it safe, I said let's get it, you say not today. What can I say, if you ain't gon' go for it, get out the way. Yeah, got no time to waste, can't be with me if you not at my pace. You not at my level, you not in my race. One foot on the gas, I'm pushing the brakes. You dancing with the devil, there's no recital. I'm killing competition, ain't no revival. I shoot it to kill it, I'm aiming for vitals. I'm showing no mercy when facing my rivals. Snakes in the grass, they getting exposed. I know they be lurking, I'm watching them close. Acting like friends, but really they foes. Saw they be scheming and said adios. Don't mindset. with it, don't mindset.
Now tell me, how's I supposed to know she's a devil and you take her bait? Just when I'm good to go, that's when she's gonna make you wait. That's fine, I'll take it slow. That's when she's gonna make you chase. Burn by her fire and all I know is she's a devil I can never control. Take pity on me. That woman's gonna steal my soul.
The semi-finals of ESL Challenger Katowice continue. sAw have taken the lead. Monte have stepped back, and they're hoping that this could be their foot forward once again. The pistol round could be their destiny or their doom. Let's find out.
Yeah, well, they won the first half pistol and then lost the second, so even with the advantages the pistol round can bring you, no guarantees it gets you back into this game. Maybe a chance to take the lead away from sAw. There's a lot of movement, though, from the Portuguese in through mid. They get position into Donut. CT smoke is not ideal. There is a gap around it. And sAw are still positioned with the bomb outside of B.
Damco would have been in a great spot over here, but Krasl shuts down U-Jerks. The bomb can go down, but keep an eye out on Roman. He likes to get tricky, but right now his tricks have been spotted out. Hades forces him back, but Story's still covering up this cross. Between him and Angel, they could take control of this site or care of this site completely on their own. At least that's what the hope is. 2 versus 5, though, never easy, especially with Hades hitting shots like that. Story covers off, but not for long, and he will be taken down. Now Roman on the rotate back needs to try and do what he can. Muter is in an impossible situation. No way for him to stop that bomb from being defused, and, well, he can't really get too many kills either. Monte find another pistol round.
Yeah, they really tried to fake out Monte there on that CT rotate just by having smokes thrown over towards the A-bomb site. That's why they effectively have 2 lurkers trying to siphon rotates. But given that Roman actually just wanted to keep himself alive, it makes the second part of that lurk feel pretty irrelevant. So maybe spread a little too thin. Obviously losing the support player that's supposed to guarantee the bomb plant and a bit more space and safety there for sAw. Not working out, but Monte also kept their wits about them. They didn't over-rotate. They still had players deep CT ready to challenge if they came out B.
sAw will answer back with a force spy, and maybe their answer can be the same as it was in the first half. It should certainly be easier on paper with the bomb plant money.
Yeah, affordable Galils too.
There you go.
Don't think I need to sell viewers on the idea of force buys. I imagine they do that a lot themselves.
Hey, our viewers are practically pro players. We, however, are not.
Evidently.
Yeah, that's why our names are on that side of the screen, not on the HUD. Roman closing into Donut, and that's where Diha will be put to the task. Perhaps Diha and Hades, both having a poor first half, are hoping to make up for performance with, you know, maybe some numbers in the second.
Once again, they're throwing interference over on the site that they're not intending to go to. They've got so much space towards Donut. Sure, it is smoked off, but they've also got access to red, so Monte will feel pretty siphoned and actually have to be worried about getting split through spawn, because that's why you see Diha sort of hovering and bouncing between these 2 angles.
sAw are also hoping that Diha overcommits back into Red Room, and that can be their actual first point of contact. But a deep smoke to CT reveals intentions. Muris now spotted, Hades as well, forced away, but the site fights will go the way of Monte. For now, the mid side has been sanctioned off. U-Jerk should be falling, but not before he gets another kill. Muris has done the same, and now they're trying to go back to B, but they're not going to make it there in time. There's no way.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you just can't round that corner in time. And yeah, U-Jerk just did the calculation himself. Even if he had been able to get out, the chances are you just die. Monte were also foot racing them back to that B bomb site. That was not how they wanted the round to develop, but U-Jerk gets away with a kill he probably shouldn't have. Muterus as well. They realize that those are the late B rotates. And yeah, they pull the plug, but they just did not have the time to do so.
And the strange thing is that if we see this time factor becoming a trend, I know I said that sAw felt like they had weaknesses on Ancient, but I always thought that was on the CT side. And funnily enough, over here, even in this tournament earlier on against Falcons, we saw the exact opposite as well. It felt like their T side was where they were struggling. And if that ends up being a trend, maybe Monte can take advantage of it.
Also, for sAw, given the turbulence that they've had, given the fact that they've not actually been to the finals of an international LAN event,
yeah,
I think the closest we could dig up was Muterus and Roman playing against Antares, Major, and Calix in a 5 Portuguese tournament plus the old Space Soldiers in 2017.
That's international.
Yeah,
More
it
than
is.
one nationality between the two of them. Stop discrediting sAw, Mike.
Sure, you get to the top 4 of a Cologne, but you know your expectations wouldn't have been to get there.
You know what feels really good though, Michael? Winning any international tournament.
Yeah.
And that's something they haven't really gotten to. For Monte, they, on the other hand, they've obviously had their flirtations with success on many a large scale with the organization. Maybe not so much with the players.
Yeah, I mean, Demka and Krasnal have lifted Challenger trophies before.
Am I their lucky charm? Dia trying to smoke them off. Flashbangs will sail past him. He's got a fair fight and then some. U-Jerks turned around for that one. So saw's reforce up with the 2 Galils. Well, Galil and M4 saved. Krasnal we'll be hoping to continue to shut them down. Roman, however, wins out the MAC-10 battle. Now, with this, the B site is completely empty. Finally, saw's machinations have worked out and they will be collecting on a bomb site, but can they actually complete the round? This is where they struggle on the pistol as well. You're going to see Diha trying to accelerate up through middle. Roman needs to take this fight, and he will be blind, and this time Kai can fight back. There's still an MP9 to worry about, and Agel's doing good work, but not enough of it. That leaves Muterus alone. The gun in his hands is the right one, but it's not going to be able to do the job. Monte again recover on that B site.
Yeah, I mean, you needed a kill on that MAC-10 at long. That flash was lined up. He hit a good timing. He hit the dink instantly as well, just fully blinded. Once again, Monte showing some... I'm liking the way that they're playing on the CT side. They are playing passive, but they are sticking together in pairs. This was the one exploitation of where Krasnal is isolated inside of Cheetah, and the fact he's not able to get a multi-kill or even really get much out of that position is the only way that sAw actually could have maybe broke into the round, because they were looking to react and fight through middle.
It's another force fly, and sure, this is one with a lot of decent weaponry, don't get me wrong, but you don't have 5 AKs and you don't have a full util. Maybe this can still be what lets you through. Roman, however, being this low is not a good start to the round.
Yeah, evacuating as well, just to try and leverage that health later on. But they have used their last smoke here on sAw. 2 flashes remain. Good damage from Krasnal on the spam. Once again, Monte not overplaying their hand. Hades is peering in through mid and sees that there's just a complete absence from that T side.
Oh, okay. That's exactly what you want to see. U-Jerks taking matters into his own hand. The aggressor of sAw now moves back to the site for a double and make it 3. He's not done yet, but maybe he is when Kai puts him down. Unfortunately, a single point of response is not enough to counter out a triple entry.
Yeah, I mean, Monte read that well. They had players in position to greet them at B. You are not expecting U-Jerks to hit that first shot, but he was definitely empowered by how clean that first kill was. Nobody could win a fight straight against him. That's what makes U-Jerks such an exciting player to watch on this sAw roster. They've been lacking a little bit of punch in these past few rounds, and now he just punches them straight in the face. Monte will have some residual cash, but they also suffered quite a few casualties in their run back here on the CT side, so it's not exactly an ideal buy. Kai, only M4 they bring into the round, finds an opener, and they can safely retreat too.
It's also a little bit scary because of how fast Diha can come over and reinforce over here. If Krasnal gets even 1 kill and Kai just chooses to completely bait him out, he'll have another player to try and bounce off of as well. Krasnal, though, has to get his job done. And Muris is watching out for it. It will not matter. That's the one kill they needed. Kai peeks out early, and he's done more than his fair share. Another kill and 96 damage onto Agil. This round is impossible now for sAw unless Roman can pull a rabbit out of his hat. And he's looking for that rabbit. That's a bomb. Never mind. That's a little bit more threatening.
Yeah, well, he needs to be able to have that option. Can't leave that in an open sight line. They've ceded so much ground in their reset to A main that they're just going to pump the brakes and hope Monte aren't containing them somehow on flanks. The longer they wait, the more it will sow seeds of doubt for Monte that they could be repositioning to that A-bomb site. But Monte also come into this round with pistols, so they are staying together as much as they can. And a Molotov will set the intentions of sAw.
At the same time, sAw have been trying to throw a lot of fakes so far. One player could have thrown all of this utility. Monte could still be second-guessing, but they decide against it. Doubling up inside Temple, 15 seconds on the clock, and Roman's position given away. The bomb committed, but not completely. Roman loses the duel, and that means Agil never stands a chance. Guns can be recovered. Monte have stolen a massive win.
Yeah, I mean, one rifle, an SMG, and 3 pistols, and they get away with that. Have to say, Agil, as much as he was good on CT side, the pulls utility, just as Kai swings from big box, you know, Krasnal was boosted up, but they knew that M4 was around. It's, I guess, a little surprising to see him get caught out like that, and it does hurt their chances coming back into that round. If he has full health, they can take more fights. They can actually trade more efficiently. And
this is the one thing about Agil that, you know, moving into sAw, I think he'll have to get these adjustments right. Agil very well matches Arizdosh's roles in terms of when he wants to lurk and play a bit more passive. But getting together with the pack, that's a different kind of Counter-Strike, obviously. In Tier 3, which, listen, I don't like saying that, but that was around the level where he was playing. In Tier 3, very often that lurking style can be constant, but then when you have to come together in these executes, you are going to be caught out more often when you're playing against the caliber of players that Monte brings to the table.
Also, it might just be instinct. You know, he was the nade thrower once upon a time for U-Jerks and Story. Arizdosh too.
That's true. Is the plan right now to take over B lane? That grenade certainly makes you think so. Kai closing the distance. U-Jerks fully flashed up, double swing, and Kai shuts him down. Roman now behind the smoke, looks to recover and will find it. Pushes the CTs back, but do they realize how isolated he is? Maybe not. Full red room control gained by sAw in exchange. And that's a good place to be, but not with Roman dying. And dying without getting too much information either. They don't know how many players are on that A-bomb site. They don't know what could be in B. Story looks to try and find information. But if you lose him, it's going to be a 4-on-2.
Thing is, sAw are anticipating there to be a reaction from Monte that they're going to keep pushing for information, and so they freeze inside of red. And sure, Story is clearing out this A-bomb site, but your bomb is stuck in that red room and potentially prevented from making that cross. Hades was supposed to serve as the safeguard. Demka spam looks pretty on point, but there is boxed cover that will allow the plant in. sAw are a man down for this post plant. But Demka is the only one with a kit here on Monte. You have to keep an eye on that given the fact that Agil is still playing close on this rotate.
Gotta see Agil put in the work right now. They're not gonna be throwing any flashes. A double kill is necessary. Good for one, but not the second. Story, a multi-kill now on his shoulders instead. He does have a Molotov. I don't think he wants to use it, especially with the smoke down. They tap away on the bomb. Story will have to reveal his position. Now they know. Now they hunt, but they will not hunt long enough. Story stays alive. He keeps on spraying. There's no longer time, and sAw are saved. Oh, 1 HP as well.
There will be one survivor on 1 health, but almost everybody going down with the ship. A very, very late round finish there from sAw, fighting back from a 3-on-4. But they let Story work, they let them clear that site, and I honestly thought Monte did a great job containing the red room possibility. Still had a player inside of Donut, there was one ascending up through ledge, and you also had Hades deep CT on that rotate to B that actually just could have stopped that bomb from making the journey altogether. Once it ended up in that post plant, though, they didn't have info on Story. Another buy where they have an AK or one rifle, but they've added a second one to it. Krasnal, wow! That's an extended spray, but they can't quite wrangle their own control of it. Krasnal, a double kill, and now as well the follow-up from Kai. We might have back-to-back round losses for sAw where they lose to these lower buys.
This entire half has just been 4 spies. I don't think we've seen a single eco yet. And if sAw lose here, frankly, that's the right decision for them as well. Monte keep 4 alive, Michael.
Yeah.
That's the 1 HP Krasnal. Let's not forget that. That's 1 footstep, effectively, that has saved this round.
Yeah, tried doing that spray with a FAMAS. He probably would have run out of bullets before he found those frags. I mean, I can't believe he got away with that. After he didn't find the kill instantly, that's the type of play you'd expect sAw to punish. But Krasnal, knowing he has had his impact, has shown his influence in this map.
We have an eco.
17 and 14 is the once rejected poll. But he's put Monte in pole position. sAw, yes, they have finally gone for an eco. Can only hope it is so easily put away. Kai missing the info on the first and pulling nades, but he's done decent damage. He stopped them in their tracks. 1 for 1 is probably not going to cut it. Hades, long range fight, and he will succeed. The craziness stops here. Monte will find themselves at 11. Muterus is down to 13 health, and he is hounded down. sAw are in a tough spot now. I mean, Monte's pick into the series, sure, but you came in with control. sAw looked good on that CT side. They had great synergy. Now we're seeing this slow building style that Monte are playing perfectly around.
I think one of the problems for sAw as well is with how slow they're playing, it feels like a T-side AWP would be really nice to have, but they never have money for it.
Yeah.
Even now, they're not going to. And look, that's not a priority on Ancient. I'll be honest. I think most teams are better without one.
Also, this is the first ult we've seen the whole half, I think. So,
and credit to Hades, he's really picked it up because he was having a terrible first half. Demka as well, and Demka's hoping to continue that form. Now, though, that's not how you do it. Roman and Story, double entries, and Hades to respond. Great shot on the back, and Diaz here to cover off as well. Hades will continue to swing. Maybe more found by Diha. Yes, indeed.
good kill though from Story. Hades trying to keep eyes on this A bomb site given that his teammate was smoked off, but brings it back to 2-on-2. Bomb recovered now by Story. But they have to be conscious of the flank. Kai's containing them, and right now it doesn't seem to be predicted at all here from sAw. Yeah, back exposed. Muterus is a free kill. You need another Story clutch.
A 1v2 when he's already got the double kill, including the opener. How much can you ask of this man? But it's more about how much he can deliver. A smoke down. Diha thinks he has security, but he doesn't! Story! Taking them down one more time!
Just key multi-kills from high-impact players here on sAw. You had the U-Jerks entry round over on that B-bomb site. Now as well, Story coming in with another 1v2 clutch. When they try and throw smokes on that bomb, Story has either lined them up perfectly or found perfect timing where they are blissfully unaware. A 4K from the AWPer on a rifle.
I mean, they've had 3 rounds won this side. It's the 3K, it's 2 1v2s.
Yeah.
That says a lot about how sAw's T-side is going right now.
And this was the one time where Monte decided to be a little bit more proactive in the opening 10-15 seconds of the round on CT, and they got punished immediately. Demka with his deep position inside of A, Roman as well, still showing presence on B lane.
Credit to Diha, though. He brings it back, right?
Yeah.
He gives them that advantage, but unfortunately, that's where apparently advantages don't really count for much against Story.
Well, so those two ex-Ents players that did find the kills back for also Hades on his rotate.
Yeah.
Kind of alleviated that pressure for Diha to commit to his swing. sAw pumping up the tempo straight into this B bomb site. They'll go. It's Muterus that leads the way, but Monte were holding hairline angles, so they can't actually prevent the cross the site.
Double Molotov out, and U-Jerks closing the distance with the Galil. Entries required, and he will deliver. Now suddenly Monte in a position where saving is certainly tenable. It might even be optimal. But not with Diha getting that kill. Unfortunately, he commits so hard. And it really comes down to Hades, the flank. Good for one. Can it be good for more? No. Story with the recovered AWP. We'll be able to put him to bed.
Yeah, and Diha's not going to feel confident going in for this on 24 health. 2 kills in defense of the bomb site, but they didn't really defend the bomb site. So having to fight from the back foot, they didn't come in with a pristine buy in the first place. And this round will be worth its weight in 2, given it's been so back and forth on these force buys.
I'm not ready to say any round is worth its weight in 2 until we see it.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, Michael. Because to be fair to Monte, maybe force buying over here is the way to go if you don't want sAw to get to, match point.
Why wouldn't you justify it when you've already won 2 this half?
It's some M4, not an AK save. Maybe that's the call.
I mean, it's not that big a difference.
Krasnell doesn't get those 2 kills with an M4, man. Not an A1, at least. All right. The call is to save. Diha. Oh dear. He's lost his teammate, but he'll take that trade. All right.
I guess Meteors just couldn't see him around the Molotov. Diha, as much as he might have missed the opening move. Armin is finding some room over towards B, and that is where the bomb is as well. Yeah, they are inside the smoke, but he has a USP. It's not looking likely he finds kills, but Krasnell swings with his dualies. It does decent damage. In fact, it's Diha that comes in with his USP. Ujurx has to stand his ground. There's reinforcements coming, but Agil a little delayed, and Diha will be naded out. It's Hades on an AK. Still could pull this clutch out.
Position given away, though, and it is time to retreat. Yeah.
Oh? He
does have a kit.
He picked it up off of Diha.
Is he? Oh my god, he's hoping that sAw are going to be caught on the retreat. They're not going to be. Agil moves back in for the AWP, and that's what guarantees a round.
That might be the worst way for that to have developed, actually. You know, they were starting to give up their ground. You have to get distance from the bomb sites here on Ancient. But as soon as he fired off that shot, he loses his rifle and that kit as well. So when we're thinking about this future buy for Monte, they may not have a kit for those retakes.
You're right.
Yeah, and they won't.
No AWP either, but that was never going to be an option, let's be honest. sAw, already having won a 13-11 Ancient to get them to this point in the tournament, are hoping to close right now with the same scoreline. Story all about the ready, spots them out, and Monte have crumbled. A CT side performance that made them feel comfortable, but their comfort is gone, and their map pick should be as well.
Fantastic hold, exactly what Monte were going to do, and it will be a 13-11 close here for sAw on Monte's map pick. It was back-to-back 1v2 calling opportunities there for Story, and he delivered so much more than you would have expected. When you needed a star to step into that role, it wasn't. I mean, Monte definitely had some impressive moments. Krasnell definitely the most so. But second map here in our first semi-final of the day, it is Monte versus sAw here on Nuke. Maybe the last map that Monte play in the tournament. But they have to show that they are made of better stuff here on the CT side start. And already a great siege here from sAw. They've broken into that A bomb site. They've got the plant immediately, but Krasnell and Diha do have utility for this retake.
Muris is trying to cover off Agil and keep him alive for a little while longer. Krasnell's incendiary might not be all that relevant over here unless he deploys it right underneath him. Krasnell still not using it. Roman and Story just take down the players, and with that, you've lost out your util unless it can be recovered. I don't feel like it can. Looked like it might have dropped off the side of the building. Story, meanwhile, looks for more fights, and he will collect on them. So Monte, not even given a chance to mount up a defense.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't have a kit either for when they went for this retake, but given that they had that molly and smoke, they clearly had a plan for it if they weren't going to try and deploy it and stop sAw from getting into the site. Demka had some chances to get some kills at the end, but no loss of life here for sAw in the pistol round. A very smooth start already to this T side.
And that's scary, right? Because for sAw, this is home ground. And however much people might be studying them, however much people might be saying, well, they need to evolve, and, well, they have a new lineup as well. Can they really evolve an old map while integrating the new line? It doesn't matter. They're still bloody well good on it.
Yeah, and, you know, as much as there is star power on Monte, they have players that have looked good at different tenures on this map. They need to be able to show good composure when they're losing so many close rounds, but they were lethal on these force buys on Ancient. This time, Ujerks very aware, will not get caught out by Diha trying to play around smokes.
Muterus will find Demka as well, so the force by warfare and madness seems to be limited to Ancient. At least that's what we hope. Krastel's demise does at least make things a little bit less likely to transpire, but with the bomb being underneath Kai, at least he should be able to find a bit more damage. Smoke down to fake it out, but the sound cue is not enough. Story always prepared.
A nice grain crossing the face of Muterus. Once again, very simple execution. Smokes outside, cross the secret, and sure, it's maybe in a position where Kai could have come up big, but glad they dodged that bullet. The curse can't carry throughout the whole series, surely. And also, Monte can't be so reliant on those force buys to succeed.
Watch out for Kai's Deagle. That feels like it's really the only threat over here. Sure, Demka has one as well, but he's not really going to have anyone coming over his way outside. Kai, however, could have opportunities. With Roman finding a kill on the Krasnal, though, they might look to what?
I didn't even see Agil. I don't know how Kai has died like that.
If it makes you feel any better, Kai didn't see him either.
Yeah.
Well, I like me some of that Agil. And that's the Agil that started off Ancient, maybe not the one who ended it, even if he did still maintain some impact.
He's done a good job so far filling the void of a Rozdosh.
He's definitely not feeling like the squeaky wheel. But the question is not whether he's a squeaky wheel. The question is whether he will be the addition to what was already an all-wheel drive and a very smoothly running, very speedily progressing Portuguese car.
I have to hope that there's some fire still in Monte. You know, you lose so many close rounds.
Dude, yeah, that's actually crazy.
That's a ridiculous shot.
I know it's an anti-eco, but that's respect, man.
Yeah.
Hades will be hoping to take some respect away now. AWP picked up for himself, and that is going to be a focal point between him and Diha. They need to come through and start cracking open those eggs. Demka found out, spotted out as he tries to back away. Needs to be careful that he doesn't just get caught off completely. Trying to back away with the help of the smoke. Will not do so without at least some damage being dealt to him, but we'll find eventual safety regardless.
The point I just wanted to finish is, you know, Hades talking about maybe not feeling like a real leader. You need someone that can be that big voice for Monte if they start a little slow here on Nuke.
And look, in an ideal world, Norot with the timeout should be able to bridge that leadership gap that Hades feels that he's bringing into the team. Agil, this is going to be an important duel. Kai's in position. Hades over here to cover off as well. Hades has to be careful, though. The first shot is going to be absolutely critical, otherwise Kai's life is forfeit. It's a 1-for-1 at best. Hades is closing the distance. Kai gets one, and that's exactly what you were concerned about, but at least Hades can re-swing forward. Muterus, though, has also made sure that with his kill on the Krasnal, who was pushing out through those doors. Diha. Muterus found. Agil, position known. He knows that it hasn't dropped down, and for some reason, Diha doesn't have a gun anymore.
Yeah.
He dropped it down to the hut, picks it up again, maybe looking for style points, but he needs to look for that round win. Hades playing it off, Angle spotted out. Now Agil takes him. Could be another. Diha saves a very precarious round.
Yeah, that gets very awkward. I don't know what Diha did to fumble or whether he was going for a weird trick shot, but...
Maybe fake audio that, oh, I've dropped down to the hut. Maybe that's the
Then you would send your USP. It makes the same sound.
It makes more sound if it's a bigger gun?
Yeah,
I don't know.
That was very peculiar, very strange. Agil definitely getting a chance at it as well, but first gun round on the board now here for Monte. Of course, only one survivor, so it comes at pretty heavy cost to the following.
This money is awful for them. They don't have a kit. They have 3-4 weapons, and now it's a fast play, but that's not what sAw wanted. Demka getting one. Krasnil could have finished off the second, but Aigul stays alive. That life is temporary. Demka adds 2 more to his tally. Muterus and Story now left in a position where resetting is certainly possible, but this kill on a Mustang will not be found. Diha fires back, and Story all alone. A man who can do a lot on his own, let's not forget. Ancient very heavily credited to his performance. And he is looking to make that 6-1 and 8-1.
Made the right choice as well, not just immediately trying to dive down those vents. Of course, bomb had to be recovered as well. See Hades locking down that rotate. But these players are separated.
Story knows that Diha could have gone backwards. He spots him out, but he doesn't react in time. Story taken down, and Diha looks like a demon right now. Exactly the kind of performance you want from him.
Yeah, great repositions throughout that round. I mean, even just his influence, obviously, in the prior gun round, still holding onto position and not overreacting when his teammates were going for a more proactive step. It is the kind of composure, the kind of experienced play you want from Diha on this roster. A man that has turned the ship around on his career, where many were thinking he wouldn't be able to put up the numbers even. And he had a turbulent start, dipping away from that Ents roster, but he has certainly found his confidence again.
Tech9 to close the distance. Users will not have any of those entry shenanigans, but his body has been used to bounce the flash off of. They're lost inside the smoke somehow. Guy comes out on top, and he's even able to reload for another.
And even if Kai died, there was a player right behind him. They pushed into lobby. Muterus, late lurk outside, will be sussed out. I don't know how Kai's gotten away with that. That felt like Roman darting round smokes and all the shenanigans he got up to on Ancient. Instead, it's Kai that benefits from all the chaos.
I mean, the fact that that flash became doubly effective by banking it off of Ujerk's body.
A very weird ramp hold, but one Kai will be satisfied with, I'm sure. Down to pistols now, our sAw 3 rounds straight for Monte. And Roman taken down before he can even think about getting into those vents. Krasnil also probing outside, keeping it contained, so aren't probably going to get away with too much. Aigul does have the bomb and he's dropped down B, but Kai is already watching for this and he holds a steady hand. Yeah, so there's no more way back into this for sAw. Maybe some extra damage here from Muterus could be somewhat relevant. It'll find nothing. Not a lick of damage across the board there for Monte. Obviously having the weaponry advantage, but also building their economy will be something they may benefit from further in this half. Win pistol, win the conversion. Hell, get to a first gun round opportunity, and things looked a little poorer from sAw. After you deal with that second round force buy, sAw are now trapped at 3. Don't let the score on screen deceive you.
It did deceive me for a second. I was going to correct you. I'm like, Michael, what do you mean sAw's on 3?
Yeah,
Monte's on 3.
No, they are on 3. And there will be more and more questions about sAw and their T sides. You know, they did not look great on Ancient.
And one of my questions is going to be Muterus. Feels like on T side, Muterus is very often the playmaker for this team, but more so in the later part of a half where he feels like they're in trouble. Are we at that page already? Let's see. Maybe we are. Lose over here for sAw, and you let Monte get into a very happy position of realistically 6 rounds. To your 3. Round is equally important for Monte, but not as far as their economy reset is concerned. They should be fine, but they don't want to lose here. Regardless, the bomb has been forced away by the spam. Now, sAw will have to reconsider what is the game plan. You've not been able to proceed forward with the package. Back to secret.
Yeah, I mean, great stalling there from Monte. You know, blew open the smokes a few times. The spam as well from Demka was very disruptive. sAw don't have those extra smokes to re-engage, but they are still finding kills outside. Diha gets his head ripped clean off and they still have access to those secret steps as well. Can think about wrapping back to spawn, but Kai sussed out round the smoke. Two-man advantage here for sAw. And you can see Krasnal trying to reposition, keep tabs on the progress that sAw could maybe even wrap this A bomb site.
Oh no. I wonder if that was on purpose. But Akhil giving away audio will at least make Krasnal feel suspicious. The lower bomb site only protected by one. It's Hades. Lies in wait. He's of course a bit more concerned about what could come over towards him from the secret tunnel. Krasnal found out and brought down. Akhil has successfully eliminated his foe. And with Monte split up 1-1, even saving seems unlikely. The hunt is on before the bomb is even planted. Demka not spotted out though. Hades as well hidden away.
I mean, they don't have a kit, and you can see Hades just trying to find an escape path, and he will succeed in doing so. This is a save call here from Monte. Great job there from sAw, getting those entries towards outside, and also leaving Akhil behind as they regrouped towards ramp, serving as kind of like checkpoint player, just to make sure there wasn't re-aggression information being gathered there for Monte, and it does punish what could have been an attainable round for Monte. There could have been opportunities to shoot them in the back, or find quick flanks if sAw weren't privy to that idea, but once again, nicely done in converting this round at the very least. And this was them playing to that same pace as they did on Ancient, a little slower, kind of looking for the mistakes of Monte, but you also can't realistically always rely on just a clear outside fight ending up in a man advantage. Akhil's hit some honestly crazy shots so far on this T side, and still in the gun versus gun rounds, Monte have done very well to dispel any fast ideas that sAw put down. Now, they did have that one round of success against the eco of sAw where nobody took any damage on Monte, so they do have a bit of a buffer.
And that buffer means that Hades should be able to pull out the AWP as well. What do we want to see with it? Before he used it as a facilitating force for Kai on ramp?
I think he also was toying with the idea of getting aggressive himself, but the timing kind of worked out that they could just play that bouncing attitude.
And right now he does try and get aggressive and outside, but blocked off by the diagonal smoke. Muteris, what a shot! Diha just found out and plucked out from behind the generator?
Yeah, and Muteris was just pre-firing angles.
Well, he's found both pathway and success. Apparently it's the journey and the destination, but his destination not found and his journey now complete. 2 kills though is more than enough for sAw to reach where he could not and take over that B bomb site. K forced off by the Molotov and forced into a fight with a Story who has not really cooled down at all.
I mean, beautiful approach. Just to them moving into ramp, blowing open those doors and throwing the molly, Kai had to commit to a fight and he had to get away with 1 or 2 if Monte were going to challenge back into this round. So understanding that there was only one player they had to deal with on B, and they put him in a position where it's almost impossible to get away with a multi-frag. Again, you can't. I say you can't rely on just getting these clear entries towards outside, but
are you sure?
Akhil gets one in the prior round, and now Muteris as well.
And it's going to keep getting easier from here. Monte are losing money, even if they're keeping these 2 players alive, and they should have another buy in the next. It's going to slowly start trickling out of your pocket.
And you would love to keep sAw contained at this 5 score line. You know, have an advantage going into that second half where you are expecting sAw CT to be pretty well put together.
That just gets worse when I see it.
It's just kind of outrageous, isn't it? I almost didn't even realize he'd gotten away with a kill because he was spamming to just show presence and pre-firing angles, but clearly got his crosshair in the right place.
That's a guy who hits his aim maps. Hades this time over will be taking over Kai's position. What is Kai up to in the meanwhile? Wants to try and reinforce elsewhere, but Diha is the one called to order, but the order is gone. Story's chaos prevails. Muterus, in he goes, spots out one, but Kai will be able to trade it away, but can't cover off for the second story. Continues to come through with the AWP. The gap between him and Hades, the highlight, is just becoming all too prominent. Story right now has taken over this game.
Oh, and Krasnal found out just probing into Hut. They needed something back, but even now saving these weapons may prove to be an impossibility.
Look at the kind of money sAw have. They don't need to try and save their own weaponry. They don't need to try and build up their own economy. There's only so many rounds left in the half.
And if Monte try to escape to T-spawn, Roman is sitting in spawn, ready to greet them.
That's a play Demka tried in the pistol round. It's time for a little bit of payback.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to get away with these rifles.
They shouldn't. But are they checking? Hades, will he turn around over here? No, he'll jump up and it won't matter. Roman even finishes off with a clean little spray.
I love how energized Roman seems to get. At one point or another, sometimes felt like a stone-cold killer, but especially when he is having a game where he's making correct decisions, I feel like it's such a fire. It's what makes sAw such a passion-driven project. You've got these older experienced players from the Portuguese scene now mingling with the younger talent. It was a big reason why they started to see their rise coming into this year. And sure, they didn't get their hands on trophies, but they certainly have impressed the scene as a whole. We weren't talking about Portuguese Counter-Strike in any real capacity. You'd see them emerge in qualifiers. You'd see them enter showdowns and think there's a possibility they can get a map upset.
And for sAw, the fact that we're even saying that the Atlanta run was disappointing only speaks volumes to the achievements that they have brought forward.
Yeah, I mean, you don't make it to the top 4 of a Cologne, beating FaZe, beating G2, and not turning heads.
I mean, Portugal was always on the map. They just reminded us where it is. Demka, however, still wants to end their tail here. He doesn't find anyone, that's the problem. So immediately recede backwards without actually conceding any of that ramp room pressure that they've been putting up. Now, Krasnal isn't finished. He's going to end up taking over the A-bomb site on his own and let Demka and Hades on outside see if they can find fight. Story will be the trade. Diha takes him away. But Hades could not add one more to the tally, so it's still a 4 versus 4. That's where Krasnal comes in. Roman put down, and that man was a menace.
Still has a lot of responsibility. Sole defender really on this A-bomb side. He will lock down the door. Takes a lot of damage for it, but now rotates coming in from heaven. Finally dealt with via UJerks, but his attempted retreat down to B is covered off. So it leaves the in-game leader here of the Portuguese squad to try and clutch. 40 seconds, that bomb over at that T-vent, and now he's been spotted. Diha will not give him a clean or a fair fight. It's only feet, but it's defeat for Muterus.
Very nicely played out on the outside attempt, though. The fact that Krasnal decides to take over A side completely, it's always a risk considering that sAw have gone for a few burst in, so if you miss that timing, it could go very poorly for you. But then despite the fact that Hades misses his shot, Story traded away. Diha comes through for that one, and then Krasnal as well picks up Roman. From there, from that point onwards, it's all 1-for-1s, and it's all going in the way of Monte.
Yeah, I think sAw were kind of limit testing that round as well, hoping that they could just win a bunch of those fights. You saw the immediate reaction from Door when they lose a player outer. Muterus this time making his way into main, and they were not looking for it. Krasnal didn't realize that was a gap.
It's the last round of the half, and Monte would love to be able to equalize. That's exactly what they're looking to do. Kills everywhere, and what was a very rocky ship has now been finding smoother seas. UJerks alone, a 1-on-4, the bomb down on lower. But it's a losing battle. Can he muster up the strength to fight it? No, he can't. Kai puts him down. Monte will take it to 6, and the second half will have evener seas for them. The question is, can they sail out into the horizon even then?
taking my pain away. Nothing else more to say. Everything that I have, I'll give. First, you gotta pick a side. Now you got a team and you're rolling with the pride. Wanna play the game, make it to the end. I wanna bring it back again. I feel it inside. I'm reaching my stride. I'm standing my ground. I won't give in. I'm moving ahead. I'm back from the dead. I'm ready to fight again. Raising the roof, raising the roof, raising the roof. I'm raising the roof. All the mistakes I made, now I can change my fate. No one can take this heart away. First, you gotta pick a side. Now you got a team and you're rolling with the pride. Wanna play the game and make it to the end. I'm gonna bring it back again. I feel it inside. I'm reaching my stride. I'm standing my ground. I won't give in. I'm moving ahead. I'm back from the dead. I'm ready to fight again. Raising the roof, raising the roof, raising the roof. I'm raising the roof, raising the roof, raising the roof, raising the roof. I'm raising the roof. Find another way to fight another day. Find another way. Find another way to fight another day. Find another way to fight another day. Find another way. Find another way to fight another day. I feel it inside. I'm reaching my stride. I'm standing my ground. I won't give in. I'm moving ahead. I'm back from the dead. I'm ready to fight again. Raising the roof, raising the roof, raising the roof. I'm raising the roof, raising the roof, raising the roof, raising the roof. I'm raising the roof.
Six rounds on the T side of Nuke have been good enough for the past 20 years of Counter-Strike before we even got to MR12. sAw move into the second half with their heads held high. Already up a map, they're looking to close out the semi-finals and move to the grand finals of ESL Challenger Katowice.
They only hope to hit the ground running here on this pistol, and so far the only one that's poking and probing is Story. A deep insertion into ramp. He has backup as well behind him in U-Jerks, and Muterus sitting inside the vent, knife drawn. But Monte will not proceed fast. They throw that lurk smoke, but sAw know what's up.
It's an execute for the A side. Muterus could be very problematic over here if Roman and Aguilar are able to provide even a bit of a defense, and they've done more than that. Muterus comes in from behind, and that's exactly what they were worried about. Demka now down as well. sAw will do exactly as they did in the first half and take away that pistol round, make it look clean.
Yeah, I mean, fantastic setup there from sAw. They not only keep tabs on whether or not these players can descend down the vent, they've also got forward positions in from ramp, so even if there was going to be a fast burst into the A play, very quickly you would have to worry about your flank on the side of Monte, but that wasn't even really that much of a factor given how quickly the players died going into the bomb site.
And don't forget, you can get knife money as well. That's what Muterus did in Atlanta with the exact same setup.
They're hoping to make a deeper run than they did at Atlanta.
And good progress towards that so far. Monte are hoping to be more than a speed bump in that journey. They are hoping to be a full-on blockade. Muterus shuts down Kaido. This anti-eco should be pretty smooth.
Wow, Okay, Roman got away with 2 headshots there just on his initial swing. Hades will eventually punish, and slow peek into Story gave himself another chance at it, but only the 1 casualty.
Hades, of course, once again having a bit of a struggle in that first half. We saw the same tale unfold in Ancient, but at the very least he was able to find form in the second. Harder to do so on the T side though, especially off a map like Nuke.
Especially when you are a map down and it could be your last map at the event.
And while we're piling on the especially when it's sAw playing that Nuke, undoubtedly their best map. And that could be what carves their way forward. Still, early damage out onto Diha is good. Kai not feeling too healthy either.
Even with this wall, Monte are not going to get a whole lot of space with it. They slide themselves to the opposite end of main, but nothing that they can really pounce into a play with. Story has ceded a lot of that ground, though, understanding that Garage could have been permeated. Damn, flash timing is a little off the mark. Diha blinded, so he can't progress as fast as they wanted to. Roman jumping for joy as he's finding kill after kill towards main. It's 3 from Roman. Nice sharp shooting, and Agil will sweep up the rest. Monte going and channeling 1 by 1 by 1, and these fights are really simple pickings there for sAw.
I don't know what's going on there for Monte. I mean, first of all, the team flash, that's whatever, right? That happens, but that does stop your bathing just a little bit. Then you don't have a flash to be able to scale onto the site. There's no god flashes coming in. D-Hop peeks out, swings backwards, swings again, dies. In the meanwhile, Roman jump up where he's clearly hit a scroll wheel, hasn't been punished either. And you can see why Roman's happy, because even he can't believe it. He's like, wait, you're just going to let me get easy deals again and again and again, even after I misstep? Thanks, guys.
I think he waved goodbye at them. It seemed like that's what he was doing.
Kai, with the only hope for this round, and listen, if sAw get double digits, this might be the hope for the game as well. Monte really need to strike in soon. Muterus will take down Hades. Kai still hunting. Kai finds 1, but Muterus is doing more than just that. He has always been a madman outside. Krasnul will be able to put him down, but his own life is temporary at best. sAw find double digits.
And it's the old guard that are finding these multi-frags here on CT. Playing with a bit of attitude. But this is the last timeout being used by Monte. They need to find a solution somehow on this T side. Make it contestable, make sAw nervous even slightly, because it is all smiles. These rounds have not been turbulent enough for sAw to be concerned whatsoever.
And to be honest, with the way things have been going, with the fact that Muterus and Roman continue to remind everyone to step up, it feels like they're even going to be going potentially, if things keep on happening as they are, they're going to be going to the finals with their head held high. They've never really been challenged, it feels like, all throughout their tournament. The most challenge anyone ever presents to them is maybe on Ancient, and even then they win it out on 13-11.
Yeah.
Both times. sAw are readying themselves up for potentially trophy contention, and Monte need to strike. Monte need to do something here. This is going to be their last gun round before potential irrelevance. Early grenade damage will not help. Krasnul and company getting ready to accelerate through Hut, spotting out a body, but they can't put it in the ground. Agil behind has diverted away and diverted aggression away as well.
Yeah, Roman's walked through the door. This man is brimming with confidence, but he just shoots too soon. Maybe too big for his boots. Won't be screaming about that one. Maybe he will, but in a different way.
Even so, gets information that there really was only one player in lobby, unless they've already gotten deeper into ramp, and that Uzerx's domain. So Story just has to make sure that Squeaky can't be re-aggressed into by a lurking player. And with smokes outside, what Monte want to do has been betrayed. But can they still make their way over? Good kill from Agil. Krasnul taken down. That's one of the important prongs taken away, and Agil takes out the second as well. What was even Steven now suddenly Looks a bit more like a negative Nancy. Monte down 2 versus 4.
You have to be able to punish rounds like this, where you maybe shouldn't have had a fighting chance at it. You get into that 4-on-4 and you just cannot deal with Agil on the top side. They have got this bomb down towards lower, but 20 seconds, they will have to start making their move. They do not have a smoke, and one door is blown open. This makes things a little bit more awkward. They've actually separated themselves. Hades will attempt to cross, but sAw don't have a quick correspondent on that lower side. They may even think that this could be a save call, but now they will start to make their move. They have that big numbers advantage coming back in.
This round looks impossible, but that's just how important it is still. Dia and Hades both at least will be able to force out 2 versus 2s. If they can get these kills without losing their life, it's going to be fantastic, but that's exactly what Muterus knows as well. He's fading away and backing off. Grenades are good. Dia being pursued. Agil in from behind. He doesn't have HP, but he also doesn't have any hesitation. Hades has to do it all. A one-on-one now. Story alone, but on the bomb as he diffuses away. Story swings and he meets death. Hades finally delivers, but he does it in style.
And Story didn't have a kit. He had money reserved that he was saving for a rainy day, and had he had that kit, it could have actually been a lot more problematic. He had to tap it, he had to force the fight, and this time Hades does deliver. It is the AWPers that seem to come up clutch, but it is, importantly, the in-game leader of Monte that has found a big round of impact, a 2-on-4 that they have no business winning.
I mean, after the performance Agil puts up in this round as well, right? A beautiful triple kill. I love the follow-up frag on Adiha as well, just running after him with barely any HP, knowing that he's got full faith in his teammates. That doesn't look like the kind of guy who just joined this team a week and a half ago.
Two of the most veteran players on this Monte roster, picking up the pieces where it is needed and giving them a ray of hope. But if your best looks in this half come down to miraculous round wins, is that a critique of the calling?
It was enough to get sAw to a point where they stabilize in Ancient, and that's what Monte are hoping for here. There are critiques for sure, but those have to be put to the side until Monte feel like they're truly out of life. Wall of smokes blooms, but Kai's already ahead of it. Roman's expecting it. He knows that can't be a solo man, so he backs off to the site immediately, being reinforced by teammates. Diha, in the meanwhile, doesn't realize it, but Ujux is down below. Now position revealed, and Diha is trying to replace his opponent's spot. Going back to heaven. Will they suspect it?
They're going for a counteraction instead. They should anticipate that that is a possibility, but they clear in through lobby. They have to suss out Demka. His angle is great, but he takes a headshot straight away, down to 40 HP, and he's just trying to buy time. Maybe get away with another frag, but Ujux will run him down. Man advantage reattained here by sAw, but Diha's good position on A.
And by this point, surely they know. Surely. Krasl, however, can't really cross over without having to contest. Hades finds one more. Krasl is down, but the trade is there. Hades continues to perform, and again, the veterans come into play. Muterus, though, a veteran in his own right now in the ground. That is a fantastic round coming through from Monte. Great job between Demka and Diha. Both of them playing such sneaky spots, but Demka is the one buying time.
Yeah, and they also just paced up. As soon as Roman wasn't going to stick around and fight, challenge them from main and sort of prevent this potential wrap towards spawn, with Ujux also missing out on his line and having to give up a lot of heaven. Immediate punishment. They played with pace that round, and Monte have finally broken the money here of the Portuguese on their defense. It will be pistols, all they bring forward.
They also will only have an AWP if Story doesn't go Kevlar in the next round. And he's been an important man. Well, bottles on the ground, guys. Got to pick those up. No littering. But putting things on fire is fine.
I went for an outside stack. Had a lot of eyes peeled for the initial smokes that Monte threw, but it is a full-on execute on the top side and an uncontested site. Complete gimme here from Monte.
So I don't have a kid either, otherwise I was wondering if they'd like to try and ninja it.
That would be cute.
considering Monte really need their economy, even if you don't actually succeed in the Ninja, if you can take down 2 or 3 players with that, that's honestly great investment.
Yeah, no cheeky shenanigans.
Damn.
Nothing cute. Even from Monte's point of view, they ran a full execute against USPs, but also didn't want to get caught out by a stack, lose too many members. Demko will fail his fight, but not looking like there's going to be too much more. Roman actually getting away with another kill. 2 is not bad, considering it's only USPs.
It's all right, but it doesn't really put the pressure on too much. Will it be relevant 2 rounds down? Yes, of course it will. But you got to win those 2 rounds if you're sAw. And it feels like those 2 rounds are exactly what they're looking for. Now with Monte breathing down their neck, let us not forget this is somewhat similar to what we saw in the first half, where it looked like sAw was untouchable for a couple of rounds in a row, and then Monte, they find some time, they reset. Hades is able to get their troops rallied together. This time he does it more with his hands than his mind in that 2v4, but is that going to be enough? This round will decide that. Roman looking to dictate the pace, but fully flashed up. That's not helpful. The grenade, however, is. And Krasl, the only responder. Monte have fallen.
This feels like the first half. Every time sAw went for a fast A execute, they also just got completely stuffed. This is another 2-on-4. sAw are very conscious that they've already lost one of these. Even with that, Muterus is taking space towards outside. He's attempting to wrap and flank in through lobby. So the longer Monte waits, the more they are susceptible to getting shot in the back.
It's a great spot from Story. Funnily enough, Diha took this exact one for one of the big wins coming out from Monte. Story will take down Hades as well. Of course, a 4-2, maybe not quite as big, but still important to close out. If that's something that we know for sure. From what, 2 rounds ago, Kai? All alone. 3 more heads to try and take off. Muterus would be the first isolated duel he can look for, but in the meanwhile, it's Heaven that he's more focused on, and he will find the duel, but not the kill. User shuts him down. sAw keep 3 alive. AK is taken forward. They're happy.
Yeah, and as much as Roman didn't get his kill, he just laid down enough suppressive fire that his main player could also provide support. Agil throwing an HE out as well, just as the door commitment came out, and he's able to get his weapon wrangled in time. So even where Roman isn't finding his impact, he is doing his job.
I do wonder if Monte bumped into each other or they were scared off by a Molotov or anything like it when they were coming out. Roman was fully blind there.
There was a molly door, so they had to smoke it, and then they had to come through the smoke, and there was a couple of bumped bodies.
And right now, Hades and Demko have been bumped down to a Deagle and a Galil, respectively. Monte, this is a Hail Mary, this is their last hurrah, and if they won't find anything to cheer for here, well, the tournament might be finished for them now and here. Out goes Monte into Mini. They've found Muterus taken down. Roman as well, fully blind, kept away. This time the spacing much better, but Story comes in with a backstab. Can't make it 2. That's where U-Jerks had to deliver, but he cannot put up the numbers.
Once again, playing with some pace, some conviction here on the side of Monte. Just a fast main split. And yeah, the fact they're able to get that first clean kill onto Muterus. You saw Roman at Tetris trying to hold in from main, and I was getting flashbacks to a prior round, but this time, like you said, spacing was a little bit better. Roman also getting distracted by the first player when there was one right in his crosshair, so he kind of flicks away from his fight. It is not as simple as Roman, get a triple kill. And once again, money not looking great here for sAw, so they're down to pistols. But it is about damage mitigation. Monte are not going to have their funds broken in the near future. They lost this round somehow. They obviously wouldn't be in with a great buy, but the chances of that happening are very low, but never 0.
And that's the problem. But you're right, damage mitigation, more importantly, making sure sAw doesn't save these AKs. When you're going in towards the last few rounds of a game, at least the last few rounds of regulation, it does feel like there's always some way where one AK saved could maybe mean a lot more than you think it does. But for Monte, they also haven't actually proceeded forward with their bomb yet. Muterus covering off the cross will not be able to find anything. Now he does. Krastel taken down, but the bomb still can be retrieved by Kai. It fell forward. They're fortunate for it. Otherwise, they would have had to maybe even use up a few more members.
They have no util here on Monte, so they have to just win outright duels, and Hades is also taken down. It wasn't 0, the chances of losing this round, and it still is somewhat acquirable. Muterus needed to finish off that frag, though. Kyle was already low. He had the bomb as well, and time was of the essence. 2 on 3 weapons recovered here by sAw, but they realized that they had their chance to win, and now no longer.
Muterus could have taken that round there and then. Kai pulled out utility in his hand. If he just gets a body shot through, Kai's not even on high HP.
Yeah. Muterus even shot a bullet, and then Kai pulled out the util.
Yeah. It's a jump scare. Regardless, Montes are jump scared, but they're not too scared. It's 11-11, and they can put that behind them. However smooth that was supposed to be, however clean it could have been, that doesn't matter. You win the round, you are one step closer to what you need, but that step will be the biggest one of the game. We now enter into swing round territory, so we'll have all the bells and whistles. They will have an AWP. They'll have an AK picked up from this round as well. They should have kits. And you can say the same for Monte.
Yeah, it will be, I mean, if Monte lose in this following gun round, it will be a little bit bargain bucket. They'll have to make some pretty big, I mean, they just won't be able to afford up absolutely everything. Yeah, the concessions would be pretty catastrophic.
And right now, you would have loved to be able to use another tactical timeout in these past few rounds or so, but that's the problem with having used so many in the early one as well. But still, some time to discuss a little bit more. Heart through the hands.
I think sAw might have done them a favor. I think they called a timeout.
I feel like that too. And that's one of those positions where you understand it, right? 11-11, if there's any point where you want to recollect your thoughts, this would be it, but there's always that double-edged sword. Because sAw have looked like they've been front-running this. I know the score is even, but they look like they've been ahead consistently. Monte might be trailing behind, but if you can get ahead at the finish line, nothing else matters. Diha and Hades taking early damage, not the greatest way to start the round, though.
I mean, they'll just reflect on that 2 versus 4 and think if they do that, Monte are dead in their tracks. It was many rounds ago, but it is shown its influence in this map.
So I don't really have the stopping power to prevent these players from crossing over from behind those smokes. The spam doesn't do too much either. It will have to be a story reinforcement, but in the meanwhile, that's a big kill to find. Kai taken down. Muterus catches him completely off guard. And with that, Roman can be the first man to rotate into the lower bomb site. The problem is, vents are no longer accessible. Muterus will have to do it by getting a flank ready. U-Jerks already here at lower, and Story just watches out for Demka.
Yeah, the fact that U-Jerks has been able to commit to this rotate actually could be very problematic here for Monte as they emerge out from Decon. First kill is clean there from U-Jerks, but Krasnal does find the trade. Smoke down as well that will bridge the cross back to Decon, but Hades is taking initiative and finding bodies too. Story out of the round, and Demka late lurk will activate. They are just honestly stealing this round away from sAw. But it has been steal after steal here for Monte in the second half. They find themselves in a great position to close, much the same as Ancient. They can get it done in regulation. This was the real fighting ground for sAw. They made good moves, they had good coverage, they made the right reaction, but they also needed a U-Jerks double.
And look, let's also not forget over here that Monte, you go back to the conversation Mike had with them. Monte felt confident about their nuke. I wouldn't be surprised if T-side is where they put more focus on as well. And you can see it. They're coming through with good post plans. They're coming through with good communication over here. Hades has become a lot more relevant than he was in the first half. And where we talk about bargain bucket, turns out the bargain bucket's been passed around. sAw themselves are not going to be feeling healthy either.
I know Counter-Strike is a game of economy, but I feel like economy has been the most important note we've had throughout this series, from how turbulent the end of Ancient was Yeah, sAw will have to make use of the 3 rifles, 2 SMGs to somehow fight for an OT.
At least they also have a lot of kits, so should it come down to a defuse, it won't be the biggest deal. But Monte, every single one of these rounds has been a struggle for them, and you're not guaranteed any of them. It's a push for overtime for sAw, and Monte trying to accelerate past it.
But when they know that they are on these lower buys, Monte have been very hesitant. They've been using a lot of utility to help flush out angles. And we saw against the 1 Deagle, 1 P250 and 3 USPs, it came so close to blowing up in their face. Will the slow approach actually bear fruit when there are SMGs?
I like that Hades is trying to continue to take these hard angles with the open outside. They're not throwing those last 2 smokes that they have just yet. They're letting Deha close the distance. Hades spots out what he can. He doesn't go quite as far as maybe could have, but also doesn't want to lose his life. That's what Deha is looking to find. The initial pick finds Muros, takes him down. Demka needs to be careful. He's going to be aggressive, but he's turned around. Nuke will discover and now look to reinforce. And by cordoning off Hell, there's only one place Monte can go. Back to the A site. Or is it? No, they look to contest, and that's a mistake and a half. Nuke comes through, triples up again. The savior of sAw, but the round is not won. Maybe it is now. Story puts away Deha, and overtime as its name written all over this map.
And maybe quieter rounds from Nuke so far this map, but none more important than that. And it was the same story on Ancient, a big triple kill from Nuke. He is postured to be the best player that the Portuguese scene has produced. Hell, I think there are many teams interested in taking him away from the Portuguese scene. But where you need him in pivotal moments, he comes in with crazy performances. That spray transfer is ridiculous.
And look, this round is all Nuke, but I do want to give Roman some credit for this, and that's going to sound weird to people. Why are you talking about Roman? It's because Roman's made Demka so scared that he's going to push out into lobby. That's what Demka's been watching for every single time. He gets completely overrun, and then it is just perfection from Nuke. Really pushing those limits, but he's done it to get them to overtime. They still need to take the win away. Monte, not deterred. They knew that was a round where maybe they were dipping their hands into the winning pile, but weren't quite able to pick it up.
Their best rounds have been when they play pacey, so I'm loving the fact they're able to cross down secrets so quickly. Muterus, you could see the reaction of smoke down as well that will help stall out the Monte progress. But now that they've gotten some information on lower, now they have positions like it, how do they tie it all together? We were expecting more from Nuke and Demka, respectively, on this map. And where Nuke has had that crazy impact already just to force it into OT. Maybe Demka could be looked to now that we're in and out of regulation.
Nuke is about to walk into 3, but no, they're walking into him. He runs away. Hades doesn't see him either, and Hades feels scared, proceeding forward. These kills from Muterus are game changers. With the kind of time that Monte have, what can they even do to respond? Hades needs to hunt for a kill, and Muterus will not be giving him an easy shot at all.
Where do they keep getting these triple kills from? Roman stalling on the A-bomb site, Nuke his late ramp hold, and this time it's Muterus. He looked like he should have been dead to rights, 3 rounding that corner, but it's a slow creep, and they are just completely caught out.
In the interest of stealth, Monte end up being hidden from, well, this plane. That's a dream.
But they're a little asleep at the wheel. You know, they get all the way to those double doors, and they are not clearing those angles with an intention of players being on the other side of it.
And they can't afford to lose focus at a time like this.
It might have been what cost them on Ancient.
Yeah, I felt that way.
When they lose to clutches, now they're losing to these big multi-kills.
And sure, it might have been their own clutches to put them in this position, but you have to capitalize when you're there.
Yeah.
That's where sAw's veterans will always seemingly have an advantage where they never really let go of the pedal, even if they think it's a car crash on the other side. Story, however, provides some real stopping power. The smokes are late and they're punished, but at least Demka can do the same to Muterus. Crossover guaranteed. Monte is down below.
Yeah, and this time sAw don't have a quick rotate. They don't have that quick reaction. Roman would be the first one that can get into position, but I think he also realizes his timing is gone. Monte very pacey in their intentions down towards B. And they've got it all. There is no one that can fish for a kill back. It's Roman that's trying to deal with this late Demka lurk.
And now he knows where Demka is as well, but the problem is that just delays him further. It's a 3-on-3 on the site, and that's what matters. Hades closing the distance, looking to take the fights first. The second this utility piece goes out, that should be Hades pushing through. Hades waits. It's Kai to take first contact instead. Hades now gets one for free, and Krasnil does the same. Every member on that lower bomb side getting involved, and Monte, with that same pace you requested, Michael, that's what'll give them their 13th.
And Roman was just trapped in a 1 versus 1 with Demka, and it was just a battle of patience. Demka did not overstep, did not overplay, had faith his teammates would be able to hold on to that lower side, while Roman was out chasing ghosts.
It might be Halloween, but this trick is not over yet. Demka. Obviously, he did struggle a little bit on his lurks at some places. Could have maybe even been the key to shutting down U-Jerks towards that last round of regulation. But as long as he can keep himself relevant there, over here on this T side, Monte can continue to find pace elsewhere on the map. But maybe it's not elsewhere they want to go. Maybe now they want to play through Demka. A-side hits have not been successful for either team, really.
Yeah, I'm getting nervous seeing Monte set up this way.
U-Jerks.
Do they dare?
With Story as well? I mean, they don't know, but they're about to find out. A rude awakening in store for them. Story good for 1, and U-Jerks is always there for the second. He's even alive for more, so swinging out now might have been necessary. Demka beats him to the chase.
Another double for Demka. 3-on-3, and they've got access to this B bomb site. There is that rotate down, though. Roman has made his move, and he will be that first port of call while Muterus is trying to reposition, trying to reflank ramp. Roman needed his 1 kill, but Diha ripping it clean off. A great headshot delivered by Star Pole, and it's Demka with a triple. All on the new addition here for sAw to get a clutch back. A 1-on-2 in the last round of this half. And he's playing a patient game, seeing if they might overstep. He has a kit available. There's a smoke still down, but they are nestled in. They are waiting to see if Agil will even dare to tap, but they are giving him nothing. No clean fights, no duels even to be attained. Monte may have just done it. Demka peeking a little early. It's not really planted in a great position for Hades, so he has to swing early, and it's going to be a really tight defuse, but I think Monte have done it. A second round found here on this T side. Agil may find the frags, but he does not win the round.
Got scary for a second in the end, but I have to say, what is up with these triple kills, man? This time it's Demka jumping up and finding U-Jerks. That's basically a 5v3 start for them. From there on out, they ended in a 2 versus 1. Demka getting those fantastic kills. Diha as well, finding that kill practically mid-air. Barely got time to reset the aim.
But with how many rounds there were from... Oh, that is brilliant.
I understand.
The peaks and valleys of emotions you have playing Counter-Strike.
Especially when you're going into overtime.
Yeah, and when you think you've done enough for the round as well. From despair to elation. I think there's so many rounds that you've seen from sAw where they get away with these multi-kills. Maybe they're feeling overzealous, you know, after they get those opening picks. U-Jerks stands his ground, Story's re-peaking, while U-Jerks is actually not committed to that same duel.
Listen, Michael, I think my real question is, we've seen 15 rounds now of Monte on the T side. Now we go back to where Hades was struggling. Now we go back to where they couldn't dictate their own pace most of the time.
Yeah, weirdly, the win conditions on T side have been strangely similar. Hades forced forward by the Molotov, but also could have taken a path to retreat, just didn't feel safe to do so. And that is as free as it comes in an opening kill. sAw will even get access to those secret steps. They could do nothing to stop the cross.
Roman, in the meanwhile, still lurking backwards, could be a threat later on onto ramp. So if sAw want to slow this down, they've got plenty of space to do so. Going into the site now is risky. It's a crossfire between two that can be reset up with another player peeking in from ramp. That's Krasnil waiting for his call to action. But Diha, the smoke will be cordoning off his eyesight for now. But he's also caught between angles. Where is he going to look? Kai can't save him from everywhere.
There's three that can quick respond into B. Oh, the call here from sAw is fantastic. It's just Demka alone on this A bomb site, and he might have come alive towards the end of that T side, but he needs another big multi. He'll only get one, and Krasnil as well tried to provide support. It is flustered on these rotates, but Kai has found an answer. Agil the trade, and he'll double up as well. It is a triple from that new addition.
Hades is being outcalled right now. I hate to say it like that, as clear as day, but Muterus just ran circles around them. They get full real estate outside, in lower. They know the reinforcements are coming in through Krasnil. They know the reinforcements are coming into lower. But they never gave up vents. They never gave up that little ladder, that pathway to success where only Demka could save them. And, well, one kill's not going to cut it.
sAw have definitely had cleaner looking rounds, but we find ourselves in this overtime because they have been able to fight even.
You jerks. Not giving up that possibility. Respect from Diha. But Muterus does take a bit of a padding of damage. A smattering.
I mean, Diha was definitely put on notice last time he was on that CT side. Lost quite a few duels outer. Hades, that one flash will take him off the line.
There's lines aplenty from behind it, but he's been missing a few of these shots, and this one, just like it, U-Jerks in the meanwhile does find Diha, but the trade from Krasnil is fantastic. Krasnil was a focal point of the CT side in regulation. Now, if Monte want to find map point before sAw do, he has to be a gain. Recedes back to heaven. Gives Demka a crossfire partner, and in the meanwhile, Hades has picked up the secret angle one more time. So they know that sAw should be focused out to upper, but do they really? Now Hades backs off.
Hades even thought about rotating up towards the top side.
He's going to be trapped in to vent if he doesn't back, and that's exactly what he does. Goes back to the decon stairs. Will be hitting this shot. Muterus down, and Hades being able to reinforce the B bomb site. sAw are walking into a mincemeat machine, but they'll still get the bomb plant.
2 kills from Hades would be more than enough. Demka's there on the rotate, but it's Story close to those double doors. The spam will give up that there is a player nearby. Roman gunned down, though. And while I was saying Demka was a little light-hearted, perhaps, in this map, he has come in with real punch in the overtime. And he's even just pushing the issue there to Story, finds the dink, and there will be that trade guaranteed. Monte find 15 first. And it's some nice shooting from Hades as that sole B defender.
And it's not just the shooting as well, it's the fact that they keep that extra access point back towards A in control. That the fact that he doesn't give up vents to utility, that he's not pushed away by it, and sAw can't really add that extra risk that's introduced when Krasnil shows himself off outside. sAw can't call that magic rotate through again. And then in the late round, they're stopped. It's some good shooting from the IGLs as well. I don't want to discredit that, but this going into this last section of overtime, it's been some good thinking too.
I thought sAw made the right decision. You know, going back towards that B bomb site. Monte were forecasting an A side hit, so without that multi, it's a whole different map, whole different round. U-Jerk so fast remain, but Demka hits his shot. And while there will be responses, Demka is doubled up once again. He's been a multi-fragging machine in OT.
A 2 versus 4 now needed for sAw. This is what gave Monte hope, but it might be what takes it away from sAw. Their own map pick, one they seldom lose. One they thought was in the bag. And now it's Roman and Muterus to remind them why. And Roman's not done yet. He's still hunting for more. He will collect on it. It's
does Roman keep doing it? Muterus and Roman, long-standing figures of Portugal. I can't quite believe it. A 2-on-4, it has been delivered by veterans on either side, but Monte thought they had it. That is a soul-crushing round to lose.
I mean, look at how fast they make the decision between the two of them. Let's fight now. Let's find those two now. Let's not let them establish a crossfire.
And Roman had tapered off. He hit 20 so early, and he was struggling to find that impact in the overtimes. Hell, even just at the end of regulation. And then he does that.
But that's the thing about Roman. It's always when you least expect it. He is the fear factor of sAw.
Madness.
Insanity.
I love that we just hear like a very silent voice like, nice, yes. And then you just see Roman screaming.
Monte have lost their voices. And not because they've been screaming too hard. Kai needs to deliver. But he's only good for the one. Diha at the very least elsewhere will find a frag and come back to reinforce, but the Molotov's too deep and a smoke that will even Gordon himself off. Story called to order, but Roman and Agil called down below to the underground. And no, I don't mean to be sight. Story's there though, and he's been cut off by a man he didn't expect. Demka from this side means that Monte will not be giving up all momentum, at least not yet.
Yeah, nice quick double rotate down towards the lower side. Hades taking up a long line, but sAw, because they were at that deficit away from the ramp duels, they understood that they had to try and take that space when they could. Both teams have played with varying pace. The faster plays have really not been working for the side of sAw. It's when they play a little slower, a little staggered, where they can especially find Monte when they try and re-aggress in through lobby. It felt like a huge winning condition in regulation.
Gotta be careful, Hades. Flash top right now. He's trying to move past the smoke, but instead it's Roman to put him down. Roman in the backside. They're trying to accelerate, but watch out for that vent player. He's lost inside the smoke. He can't come through. Hades doesn't know what's going on. He's not able to provide the assistance he needed to. Now finds Muterus backing off, looking for a ramp player. Hades hunting for more. Will collect. He might not be done yet. Still have to be careful about the player in the back of the bomb site. Diha yet to engage. Ujerks thinks he's safe because of that smoke, but Hades certainly thought about going through it. What is going on? They don't know, but they do know that Diha is right up above. And now Diha's caught out as well. Hades all alone. His double kill insufficient. Waits, searches, but he will not find the shot.
Yeah, that gets really chaotic, and I eat my words immediately. This is a fast-paced round, one that blew up in their face so many times in regulation, but this time the flash hits. Hades gets caught. Demka is caught in no man's land round the other side of the smoke as well. And maybe because he had Hades so nearby, he didn't think that that was a possibility, but comms get cluttered. The site just dissipates. But sAw also find 3 openers, only for it to come down to a 2-on-2. It was still a closer shave than it had any business being.
No.
Hades, a nice opener towards outside. Story trying to take that elevation, but Hades read it.
Hades seeing red right now.
And where there were players aslumber in regulation, there have been different heroes in the OT.
Jerks. Known to wear a cape. And he just hopes he doesn't have to wear a shroud.
Okay,
Roman's got full control over the B bomb site, but there's no way for the bomb to pair up. That's what Krasil was hoping to try and prevent. But with Krasil's demise, how do you stop this? It's all on the shoulders of Diha. If they go back to the A side, that's where Demka's hoping to be the one to cut them off from vents. But it's about denying access to B. Monte. In the meanwhile, we'll let Hades reconsider what he can find.
Yeah, it's a good smoke. Diha wanted to be able to stop them on the cross. Bomb has to make its way down towards Roman, who has a great position on B. Hades does have a line, though.
This is fantastic from Hades, but Roman's going to be closer than he expected. Will he be able to get the kill? Meanwhile, Diha adds more heat. He shakes his aim. He misses the shot. Diha now can't come through in what he thought would be a man advantage, in what he thought would be a dead Roman. Monte, no choice but to contend, but what do they do it with? Who do they send forward? Demka, blocked off by a smoke that he knows he can't even think about treading through.
You'll have to try a 1-on-3 where they have the double peak set up. It's a triple. Another one from Roman. A great entry, great space taken, and it throws absolute chaos where Monte have had so many good contingents. They've had quick rotates. They've been plugging up gaps. This time there was a massive exploit that Roman himself is able to find. And it takes him a little bit of time to rendezvous, but once they're there, Roman just keeps on delivering the goods.
But Hades will be ruining the day he missed that shot.
Yeah, he thought he'd swing wide, and instead it was a stuttered step.
Finest margins, that's what Counter-Strike comes down to. That's what it felt like Ancient came down to. And right now, that's what it feels like Nuke is going to be settled upon. Monte trying to let Diha cross over to Secret all on his lonesome. Fake out and execute towards the A side, but Agil's immovable. He's very comfortably sitting away. Roman, a chance that he will not take to peek, instead lets Demka and Hades come to him! This is the Roman Empire, and you are seeing it in Katowice.
Krasnal will be able to get something back at the least, but it's hard not to say Roman's been the highlight. 2 kills through lobby. Agil takes that space and finds a free one. Ujerks as well, timing good to reface the vents. And Krasnal needs to come up big, come up clutch. He finds another head. Still 3 more to find. A kill to Roman, but there is a trade right behind. Roman started screaming at the start of this map, and I don't think he has let his voice rest.
He's not let his hand rest either. He is destroying them.
And when one side is screaming, the other is silent.
The only sound you hear from the Monte booth are the sighs of despair. But it's not time for sides, it's time for shots. It's time to try and put up a fight, mount a defense. It's still overtime. You still have a bye. You can still bring it back. That's what Hades is telling them. But Kai turns around, adds another. Muris thought he was being sneaky. You're trying to hide from me? Agil. At this point, it's about disrupting confidence and disrupting the bomb. It will be down. Ujerks gets another, but at least Monte will prevent tragedy from striking this time.
Yeah, once again, you know, it does really just come down to getting quick opening picks. They just run with those punches. Monte playing with pace once again, and it's just this house of cards that comes toppling down one after one. sAw lose territory, and that was the only way back in the round. Agil needed a double kill to siphon off that bomb somehow. It is too much to ask for in that moment. We go every round in this overtime, another opportunity to extend play. But what will Monte choose to do? Where sAw found success finally making one of those fast executes work, the slower style that Monte regressed into in certain moments in this game has not been able to bear fruit.
It's a conversation I am glad to not be having.
Yeah, it's a question of, do you stick with what worked or try something that didn't? You should have faith in those executes, those slower building rounds, but they have every reason to doubt it.
Hades is up to 21 frags, by the way. I think he ended the first half with 2.
Yeah, I mean, Roman's on 30, though, so...
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, there's a reason why he gets an Empire and Hades only gets a fictional underworld. This is dangerous. A flashbang could be their undoing, but instead it's the Molotov. Ujerks reveals position. Muris is the one who actually collects the kill. Hades has not been spotted out, so he's hoping to explore. K as well, looking for feet, and he does see them, but he knows shooting will be giving him nothing. Still, threatens, and Story does more than that. sAw are 3 kills away from the grand finals. They know it, they can taste it, but it wouldn't be the first time a double man advantage has gone wrong for either team.
Kai was giving the play-by-play the whole time of where Story was positioned inside of main. They didn't think that they should fall victim to that, but they do find Roman, and K has kept that player locked into the big garage the whole round. Story knows he can't swing, but K gets overrun, and Demka will also fall into the test of time, and it is the Roman Empire that steps up once again, the veterans delivering the goods. They will take the series against Monte, but it was close shave after close shave from map 1 to map 2.
And for Monte, their only regret will be that they didn't activate fast.